I start here and time no day. Yeah, good evening, everybody. Yeah, welcome to another episode of the Ssag show every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. prompt. Yeah, I see you, Hilda. I think Hilda is in the meeting, so she'll be quiet for some time. She'll join us soon. Deborah Annan, please, you're welcome. If you can hear us, let us feel your presence, please. You can shout, you can clap, you
Hi,
can
please, I can
do
hear
it.
you.
Great.
I'm
Mami
here.
Abuedu. Please, if you are here, let us feel you. So that we just kickstart the show.
Party.
Yeah, man. Alfredo Kufu, please, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Solid. Daniel Tekete, if you can hear us, let us feel you, please. Let's hear your voice. Let us see your voice. Let's see your voice. Daniel.
Yeah, Bambo.
Great. Awesome. Yeah, something Buedu. If you can hear us, let us see your voice, please.
Yeah, I can hear you, Rambo.
Great. By God's grace, Google Meet has not been banned in your country. That's good. James Obey.
Hi, everyone.
Wow, yeah. Okay, so last week we started a conversation, a discussion. I mean, it was getting nice, it was getting interesting, but not time we continue to me again and the year twice by 10 the pound. Yeah, so I don't know how many of us remember what we discussed last week. I mean, there's an open-minded thing. There's a discussion. There's not a lecture. There's a discussion. With the Ssag show, we always come here to learn, unlearn, and relearn every day. So last week, how many of us were on the call last week? I think all of us, except James. James, were you on the call last week?
No, please, I wasn't.
All right. So I'll brief you. So last week we were discussing. I mean, it was we are still in the Ghana month, so we're discussing how the 65 years of Ghana's freedom and justice has come so far, and how we as young adults in the country. I mean, we know some of you are outside the country now, but 65 years since we were born till now, how you've seen the country, how it has been, how it has improved, whether we are retrogressing or we are moving forward, whether the species of Kwame Nkrumah is bringing forth something, his freedom and justice, Ghana is free forever from every emancipation and blah, blah, blah. So from the time you were born till now, how you see the country and how you think it's going. So last week, there was a whole lot of discussions, a whole lot of school of thoughts, banters here and there, agreement and disagreement here and there. I mean, it was very, very interesting. It was very, very educative. I mean, people were of the thought that we are not ready to change. People were also of the view that we are ready to change, but our leaders are not. People were of the view that we, the citizens, have to change to make the country move forward, not our leaders. Others were of the view that we shouldn't blame our leaders so much. Yeah. So it was getting quite interesting. I mean, it was actually interesting, but time was fast spent, so we had to continue today. So first, we'll talk a little bit about the global markets, how we are seeing things now, and then we'll delve deeper into our convo today. We just move forward today. I mean, so yesterday I put on a page that please, if you have a car, kindly full tank before tomorrow, and then Alfred said we should store our foods for the next week or two because food prices will also go up. Ladies and gentlemen, is this the fault of our government or is a global market thing? Okay, I'll set the ball rolling and then maybe we can bring our discussions. So as usual, a few household rules. If someone is talking and maybe you want to interject, you can put it in the chat session. But if you want us to hear your voice, you can feel free to raise up your hand and we'll call you. Yeah, in as much as you put things in the chat section, it will be read periodically. So as and when. So don't feel intimidated or don't feel like we'll not read it. So you not put anything there or you not talk at all. We need everybody's views and suggestions to make this show very, very interesting. Yeah. So when I was coming home, I saw an article. I didn't read it fully, but I just saw the heading that Putin is now seeking help from China. As I said, I didn't read the footage. It's just the headline that I saw, and it was quite funny. Yeah, but last week we were of the view that maybe Putin has alternatives. A lot of alternatives from other people. Now that America has threatened. No, America came out to say that they are not taking any more gas, oil, or energy sources from Russia. And I texted a friend that we are canceling. So I was talking on behalf of America that we are canceling all American restaurants and we are banning all American restaurants from operating in Russia. And the friend just replied me that, and you know for a car, no, not price near saying. Just oh no, Russian, he's not bothered. It's oh has cause ban, man. The people in Russia, they are not bothered. But I didn't want to continue. So it was just yesterday or so, I saw in the news that Russia is now banning the media, more private media, and they are just letting one media station, project what's happening in Russia. Basically, they've also banned Facebook. Russia himself has banned Facebook. And now people don't really see what's going on. People in Russia don't see what's going on in the world. With that of the oil prices going up, I think it will be rising each and every day. Every 2 days, we are expected to see a rise in oil prices. The US is now reluctant or is being forced to move to people like Venezuela, the UAE, and other nations, other oil producing nations to get a reserve, to get oil. Even though it's projected that the US have reserve for the next 100 years. That's the projection we know. So I think we shouldn't blame our government too much. We shouldn't blame Ghana government too much because right now it's a global thing. But I thank God that it's not a good thing, but this conflict has come for, COVID, the scale of COVID has gone down a little. Now I can see and I can boldly say that people are moving freely without their masks. You go to town, you go to market, you go to church, and people are moving freely because now, thanks to Russia and Ukraine, people are thinking about how the war will end and how life will be back. Yeah. So there's a little bit of the global market news. I don't know if anybody has something to add or anything to banter what I said. Sampene is here. Sampene is in Russia, actually. Sampene, has McDonald's closed in Russia?
So McDonald's is supposed to close, but they reported that they have food stuff unsold. They have to make sure they sell it
before they can close it.
Yeah, it all comes to the point that the closing that they are closing, they are not really. No one is really happy about it, even the companies, because in the first place, you were here doing business, you were making money, and then now the thing has to be closed. It means that people are going to lose. Your company is going to have a reduction in sales globally, because you can't tell me that the number of businesses in Russia is not adding anything to your funds. So I think it's really unfortunate that all these things are happening. Like you were saying, let me just use this to add what I think I know based on what I've also read and seen. Yeah, I think 2 days ago I was going to buy shawarma. Previously it was 160 rubles, but then when I went it was 180 rubles. It wasn't really a big deal because the ruble has also gone down. So if previously I could send 500 cedis and I'll get, let's say, 5,000, now I'm sending 500 cedis to myself and I'm getting like 6,000. So it makes sense for them to also increase it. So trying to also balance and stabilize what it's going on. But then, unfortunately, I always tell people that Ghanaians, especially in Africa, and Africans, we are going to have suffer really because um, the fuel and these things, the USA is telling the world that they're not going to deal with Russian gas. It's not like they were dealing with it at first. They weren't dealing with Russian gas because there was a gun pointed to their heads, but they were they were getting something from it, and that's why. So it's like everyone is trying to disassociate themselves from Russia, but Russia is also being affected, and the world is also being affected, to be frank. And on Sunday, I was on a call with a friend in the US, and then he was telling me they used to buy gas where he was buying gas at 3 point something dollars, and now it's almost 5.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not like only one place is having the effect. I don't know for Ghana. Like I always say, Ghana, we should brace ourselves. Like you were saying in the beginning, things are really going to go up. I was talking to my dad some hours ago, and he was telling me that things are really going up here, and it's true. So me, all in all, I just tell people that we have to pray that this thing they settle it fast, because when it comes to fuel, I don't think Russia has problem with fuel. They don't. I don't. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't think so. And then for we, the individuals here, I was telling someone I paid about 122, that's equivalent of Ghana cedis, for the next 3 months. All transportations that I will go, I've paid 122 Ghana cedis. So it can never be compared to how much I would have paid in Ghana.
Exactly.
But
That's
at
true.
the end of the day, someone was telling me that is like 2 weeks transport in Amakanesa. But it doesn't make us happy here that I'm paying less and I'm going, or wherever I want to go, I can go and all that. But the most important is that globally it's affecting everyone is affected. Russia is affected by sanctions, and then the world is also affected one way or the other. We are affected by a whole lot of things, and it affects all of us because, like I said, I also have family in Ghana. I have friends in Ghana. Everyone is complaining. Germany, for example, Netherlands, they are going to really suffer if Russia decides to close out on a deal. Russia hasn't decided to close out. They are not. I don't think they are ready to close out on gas deals with them if it comes from their side. I think they might be shooting themselves in the foot, but it will just have to be a difficult situation that they will undertake. I think it's a global thing. We can't blame Ghanaian. Ghana has nothing to do with this thing. It's just that the prices were already increasing, and then this also has come. If you compare every country, everyone is seeing an increase. And I used to tell Ghanaians that they shouldn't be surprised if they see the thing going on. They should just pray that this crisis and this conflict will end. Otherwise, the things will just keep on increasing. I was reading that by May, we'll be paying for times 3 of what we are buying, because food is even going to be scarce in a way. Yeah, Russia and Ukraine export they export wheat. Let me just say that, and wheat is really essential in most of the foods that we eat, even though we don't know. Wheat is really essential in most of the foods that we eat. So if all these things are going up, it's going to really affect everyone, like globally. So that's my take on it.
Sure, that's spot on. That's spot on. Yeah, aside the oil and gas and the energy Russia produces, so more of the wheat which comes to Africa and West Africa, especially, and East Africa, Kenya, Uganda. Most of the wheat come from Russia. It's known that they make one of the best. They produce one of the best wheats and one of the best oils and gases. They say there's something special about the Russian oil that's so essential that most of the countries need it, especially the EU. You see, also the oligarchs are affected. I don't know how many of us know about the oligarchs. The oligarchs are like the billionaires of Russian businessmen who are, all over the world. All these sanctions on them has put them to a big jeopardy. Like now, their assets are being frozen. A typical example is Abramovich. There are other people in the world who are now moving their yachts and all that to the Norwegian shores, trying to run away from all these sanctions. Even yesterday, I read that a student in one of the schools in England, who is a Russian, I think a teenager, was not even made to play his music during a concert just because he's Russian. And I feel it's very, very sad, because this is a government who is doing the thing, who is in war with another country, but putting sanctions, putting sanctions to individuals just to push the leader to the wall to stop, and the leader seems not to be bothered. It's quite hard. It's tough for everyone. It's tough for everyone. So these oligarchs, I mean, I don't know. They claim it's a claim that they are the Russian president's best friend because they fund, I mean, most of his deals, his elections, his army, and all that. I mean, these are billionaires we are talking about. So with the global markets, that's going to be tough. I mean, as Sampini said, and as I'm reiterating again, I mean, we can't solely blame our government for the rise and increase in prices, which I think every 2 days we should be bracing ourselves upon. But then again, what can we do? What can we do as a country? I think last week I stated that I think there's a big cash out for countries like Nigeria and UAE. I mean, Nigeria can decide to produce oil for the countries here in West Africa starting and Africa as a whole, and I mean cash out big time, and even give some to other countries which were getting their direct sources from Russia. So what's your take? Alfredo Gufu, what do you think?
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, I mean, whatever all of you have said, I think it is spot on. One thing I have seen and I'm quite alarmed and I want to talk about more is the growing concern of food the scarcity that is about to hit the continent, Africa, and then the poverty level that is going to rise. I mean, this whole thing is a very serious issue. I mean, yesterday I was reading about when he posted, I also posted that the food by 25% you are going to lose a lot of food. I mean, so if you have any means you can store food, it's better. Yesterday I have a friend who is into corn. He's into corn farming and all that, and he was telling me that now the prices of fertilizer is going up, and those who have stored fertilizers over the months ago are now selling it twice or three times. He said they are saying the least of it is twice the selling price they got it for. As at now. And so it tells you that this year, if care is not taken, a lot of people will not be able to farm. Even if they are going to farm, it is going to be less of the acres they farm because they are not going to get their inputs that they used to. And so a lot of hunger is going to come. And it is a very serious concern because over the years, statistics tells us that even though Ghana is an agrarian economy, we don't have that much food to talk about. Like we boast of as an agrarian economy, we are 60% agric and all that. We don't really have food assets like that. And now this is going to happen. And it is a very serious issue for Ghana. And people even look up to Ghana for food and other things. And if Ghana is going to suffer, I'm just praying for the neighboring countries that depend on us for some of our products and all that. So, I mean, it is something I've been thinking about because me don't pay the So, it's something that is serious. And then you also mentioned about Nigeria and their oil, and I think it is a big cash out. My challenge with that is that the Nigerian economy, in as much as the individuals have money, the economy is not that rich. And so their oil and all that, I mean, and the corrupt nature of their leadership.
Exactly.
And all of that. They don't have, just like Ghana, they don't have so power and authority over all their oil fields and all that. So they cannot come together like that and produce for other people. I was listening to one statistician, and he was saying he was talking about Ghana, our oil, and telling us the number of percentage that comes to Ghana, and it is sad. I mean, all the natural resources put together, the amount of money Ghana gets from it does not even reach $7 billion all the natural resources, gold, oil, everything together. I mean, when I heard it, I was like, wow. Like the revenue Ghana generates from it is not even up to $10 billion. And I was sad. The same thing is happening in Nigeria. They are not the individuals who are able to venture into the oil business are the ones making money. The country doesn't really make a lot out of it. So I don't know how they are going to be able to do that. And in Ghana too, how they are able to do that. They will be able to help. As for Ghana, we can't even talk about the oil. I mean, we can't even talk about the oil. So we just have to, as they say in movies, brace yourself for impact. We just have to just get ready and then start start saving a lot of the things and cutting down spending and all of those things as individuals. Like we have to be wise in spending and then eating and all of those things. You can't be eating the number of balls of cake you were eating and all that. But you have to start storing food and be economical now, because that would be the only way. The government in and of itself can't really help that much. I mean, no, their economics and all of these things are failing them. And like whatever you do, they are going to be in power for the next 3 or 2 years. And so if they are not doing what we are expecting of them, we'd have to find a way to live and survive. So I think that what we can do as individuals is that if you have some warehouse or you have some storeroom or something, start being economical about your spending and your feeding, and try and be economical. If you are using a V8 car and it's worrying you, my friend, you can come down to our level and let's all work together. Or maybe join a bus or something. You can decide with friends, and then maybe if we are from the same, you take the same route to work, and you are 4, and one of them can just use their car, and the rest of you share and buy the fuel for the week, and then use it together. Then we can rotate and pay. All of these personal economic stuff can help us manage our situations better than complaining too much. I mean, these are some of the things we can do personally. If you buy food every day, you can decide to store some food, and then for the following weekend, try and get people from maybe the rural areas who can get food for you for cheap as at now, and then store them and then preserve them and all of that. These things we can do them, and we can live a little better life than this situation that is coming. So I mean, I would hold on and let someone else, so to speak. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. That's spot on. So that's I really like the fact that you mentioned the Nigerian corrupt parts. I mean, that's my headache. I mean, we could have, as a continent, really cashed out from this whole brouhaha which is happening, but our corrupt nature and we're not having sole ownership to our oil reserves is quite sad. So my next question to all is, if it's a claim that USA has reserves for the next 100 years, what is stopping us as Africans, as Ghanaians, to also have reserves for all these? I mean, I also read that France, like this, as somebody said, maybe it's because they are still getting some form of aid from Russia. But I also heard that France has subsidized their gas prices for their citizens to live their normal lives. The government doesn't want them to feel the heat which is coming from their neighboring countries. So they've even subsidized their oil prices, their gas prices, and all that for people to have their free lives. So what's actually stopping us as Ghanaians, as Africans, to have all these visionary thinking to reserve oil and to make our lives simple? Yeah, Alfred. After that, I'll come to Kelimas. Kelimas is also a banker. I think you speak on it a little and we'll go for it. Yeah, Alfred.
Yeah. So, I mean, bro, you see, last week I was mentioning that. So, I mean, I was mentioning last week that leadership is the cause, everything else is effect. Now we can all come to the terms that, you see, this thing we are talking about can't be done by individuals in the country. It's done by leadership. So yes, so I was mentioning last week that leadership is very important, and I'm telling you, even in Ghana here, what has happened to our Ghana Buffer Stock Agency or something? Where is it? I mean, once in a while you hear their names, and all that. And then you see that documents are missing and part of the place is bent and a lot of stuff. Ghana medical stores, and there's fire somewhere because there's corruption, alleged corruption. I mean, these things were over the years, our former presidents, all of them had visions that let's have buffer stock, let's have medical stores, let's have this. But over the years, we have not paid attention to it. And now people will steal stuff and then they will set fire into these buildings. And then it will come back to square one. I mean, if America can do it for 100 years, I mean, Ghana, COVID, we couldn't even do. People had to donate. And we are talking, even COVID, that was a health issue. We had to plead. And we are talking about a whole economic situation, economic meltdown in the world, and we are going to survive. I'm actually sad for this country. So, we have a buffer stock, something in Ghana. I don't know if there's food and other stuff there. I don't know.
All right. Kelly Max.
What's the question again, please? Sorry.
Yeah. So, we are continuing last week's discussion. 65 years of independence, 65 years of freedom and justice. But we gave a premise of how the Russian-Ukraine war is affecting our global markets and global economy and our local market as well. So it's claimed that America has projected, like, for the next 100 years, they have reserves whereby if anything should happen at all, they'll still live their normal lives. France has also subsidized or has put on the level, like the same level of their fuel price, their oil price for their citizens to, live their normal lives so that they don't feel the heat of what's going on with their neighboring countries. So the question is, as Ghana, as a nation and a continent, where is that visionary thinking whereby we can't even reserve things for the next 30 years, for the next generation? What's happening? What do you think is the cause?
Sure. Can I juggle my English with Pidgin?
Oh yeah. Please, this is the Ssag show.
Okay.
Feel free.
Sure.
Pidgin, French, everything is allowed, please.
Cool. Make up Bembo. So you have a country, okay, where the land is so arable, and you can plant throughout the year, and then you still get food. Is that not the case? Why should you even think of irrigation?
Important.
Because regardless of the time, it's a common day with our own drain. Okay, if you go to the English, or if you go to England, they have snows there, and then during the snow season, they are unable to plant, right? So they try to find ways and means to make sure they save for that period. And I'm right?
Yeah,
Country,
yeah.
yes. If you come to this country throughout the year, it's a common day. Really, we let me say, excuse my language, you're not thinking. Because regardless of the time of the season, there is still going to be food, regardless. That is what it means. And so this situation has hit us so hard. It doesn't even cross our mind to say what. If you're not there, I'll get something. I can plant a friend saying, plantain at my backyard, and it will grow throughout the year. But Oko England, there is no during the snow season. Can you plant? No, your crops will die off. Not just here. Yes, so they have to plan. We don't have to plan because our lands are arable, and then we are fine. Let me say that's why we are not thinking. Excuse my language, please. So Bembo, that's my contribution for now.
That's important. Yeah, that's important. That's important. So we think we are fine. We think we have the land. We think we have like everything. We don't really we think about just the today.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, we think about just the today. We don't think about the next 20 years, 10 years, 30 years to come. It's sad. It's sad. Yeah. So please, you're all welcome once again. This is a Ssag show. I think people join it. So this is a Ssag show. It's a youthful discussion we are having. We always come here to learn, unlearn, and relearn. So today we are continuing our discussion we had last week, actually. 65 years of freedom and justice, 65 years of Ghana is free forever, and all that. what have you seen so far? How are you impressed? Are you sad? What do you think is the future for our nation as young adults? What do you think about the future? What do you think about the now? What do you think about how do you see the past? So basically, that's what we are deliberating and that's what we are discussing. So that when it's time for us to get into power, with all the discussions we are doing now, when it's our turn, we'll be able to change, the scenario. So those who just joined, I see Mrs. Boama, you're welcome. If you just joined, you're welcome. Yeah, basically. But then we give a premise, on how the global market is going using the Russia-Ukraine war and how it's affecting our living here. Yeah. So basically that's it. Yeah. So the floor is open. Deborah Annan. So what do you think? From where you sit, what do you think? How do you think it's affecting our local markets with all the news that's going on?
Can you please go and come back? I am still organizing my thoughts.
All right, that's fine.
Thank you.
So, yeah, Boske, Pinyameke, from where you sit in your office, what's the way or turnaround for us as citizens of Ghana? Should we flee the country? Pinyameke.
Bebo, what's up? I didn't get the question though.
I did. I said, should we flee the country from where you sit? Do you think the country will become so hard that we should leave the country and go to France, where everything is life is normal over there? Because the USA people they're complaining. Right now, USA people then they complain, say them fuel prices they go high. So
and then the sanctions are affecting everyone and everywhere.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily
except France. I read as I said France. I read in an article that they are still living their normal lives.
and they have,
so should we go there?
Going there as a citizen, you're going there as a foreigner. So you'll not be treated as the citizen will be treated. You'll be treated as a foreigner. For that to it's not easy because getting a job there, even trying to get residency there is difficult because you are not a citizen, you are a foreigner. Once you leave your country and you travel with your passport, you are going there as a foreigner, not a citizen. So they will give priority to their citizens before they will give priority to you. So I believe you stay where you are welcome and where you are comfortable. You don't necessarily run away from the country. We are all in it. Everybody is bearing the brunt of the heat from the Ukraine-Russia war. So until they manage to meet at a peace table and find a way or a resolution to this, we should be expecting what to expect. You can't expect. You don't know what to expect. Just hope that it ends soon.
And this peace talks, today is the third time they've gone and nothing has come up. It has proven futile. So
the problem is not from the people who are going. The problem is from the one person. One person is the one who is making all the decisions. So if he doesn't change his mind or they can't change his mind, this will continue to happen. So, because of one person. And even they're doing peace talks and he's still attacked. So you don't know what his mind is or you don't know what he's thinking. So until they can reach out to him, we can't expect any good news for now. But we just have to hope and pray that one day his heart will change.
Okay, so
from what I saw that he was asking China for help. If China is actually helping him, it means that they
are not ending now.
And then there's also another angle that some of these international corporations like UN and then those big organizations want to stay relevant. So might find a way to follow these things so that they can find how to get material aid and somebody somewhere will get his money and things. But that's another angle altogether. So if you want to angle to this possible.
That's spot on. That's spot on. I mean, so you have been outside the country. You have traveled. You have been in France before. How is the system there like? Just in just two sentences, also, how is the system like, and how is it different from here in Ghana? And how is it that citizens are given, like, yeah, they have more privileges than the foreigners? Unlike here in Ghana, where we the citizens they suffer past the foreigners. Foreigners, they get advantage past we. I mean, the free zone boys and tax free and all those people, they chill past we, the local people here. So what's actually the difference?
There's
That's
the
making them.
system that they have there. Their institution works. Like their institution, it means that if is one way or is one track I have to follow, it goes through that particular. Like yeah, let's say they're trying to the simplest thing, like trying to get a bus card or something, or trying to get transportation. They have a system that works. So the bus comes at this time and then it moves at the next time. If you are not there, the bus will leave you. Don't wait for you because you are now. Even if you are running and the time passes and the bus driver he sees you cry, he can still go because he has the right to move. Because if he doesn't move, they'll penalize him.
Mm.
Their systems work. The policing works. Everything works. Like and they monitor. They monitor. They can actually monitor your movements and everything you do. It's like the system is so structured that you can't. I'm sure somebody can attest to this because it's so structured that you can't do anything freely. Because if you attempt to do something freely, someone will definitely see it, and then you can be taken on.
Mm.
It's more like you are living according to the rules, and that is what is annoying because when you're in Ghana, you don't want to follow the rules.
Mm-hmm.
When you want country, you want to follow the rules. So if we the Ghanaians we follow the rules that have been set, but the people who are supposed to enforce the rules don't follow the rules, and then they make it seem like the rules are not necessary. So to that end, it's like we set rules or we set principles, and then we don't follow these principles, or a few people follow it, and then some people rubbish it. Some people think that it's not necessary to follow the rules, and people use shortcuts. So that is what makes it different from another system, the other system. If our system was structured and our institution work, have you seen how the Ghana police is working now?
Mm-hmm.
Because who allows it follows due protocol. He doesn't take shortcuts. If it's this way, it's this way. If it's not, if you can't cheat the system. But if you try and cheat the system or maneuver around, you always find yourself wanting, or we find ourselves wanting. We always complain about it, and then it boils down to not necessarily politicians. The politicians they they somehow set the standards and the rules and everything, but if the citizens don't follow it, because maybe hey, I know a big man, so even if I'm stopped by the police or something, somebody I can just call someone and then he will know, he will call somebody's superior and then he can get him free. But if it was working, the system was really working, the country we have developed past even the countries that were independent with us. For example, Malaysia, or would have been one of the strongest countries in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, you can see that Nigeria is growing because their president is doing very well.
Which country did you mention? Did you say Liberia or Nigeria?
Nigeria.
Nigeria. Mm.
You see that their country is really growing. From where I'm sitting, yeah, I can't talk much about that, but just watch. Let's see.
You should watch the space. Yeah. All right, Alfred. Thank you, Penny. That's spot on. That's spot on. We can feel like you're in the gym, so you dare continue. Alfred.
Yeah. All right. So there was something I wanted to mention. I couldn't mention earlier. One of the things that is also coming up, and I have read, is that there's going to be high inequalities amongst nations.
High inequalities, right?
Yes.
Great, yeah.
I mean, I read an article. I'll try and put it on the Ssag page. And they were talking about the possibility of inequalities going to happen, especially economic inequalities. People will be getting salary cuts, and people are going to, and then it's going to cut across everywhere. And then if inequalities begin to happen, That's where picketing and other things will also follow, which is not good for, especially in our continent. If there's going to be inequality amongst ourselves as members, citizens of a country, it's going to be a challenge. And so this is something I also picked up, and I wanted us to be careful about it, and then also find, if you are here and you are in some management position, maybe you can find some level grounds, because I mean, what is coming and what people are projecting, we are praying to God it doesn't happen, because one of the things that it's not good is inequalities. We have fought it over the years that we would have an equal system and then breaking the biases and all that. But if this economic crisis is going to cause us to go back to inequalities, it is going to be very, very serious. I'm just hoping that and praying for the citizens of Ghana or Africa that are in Europe and other places, that it doesn't really happen to them. We know that it's already happening, racism and all that. But if this thing is going to go as projected, I'm really praying for our brethren and the people outside our continent. And so they should just brace themselves, as I said, for impact. Thanks.
So I think that also boils down to where Penny was saying that, I mean, if you're a foreigner, you wouldn't enjoy the privilege as a citizen of that country. That will bring more dual citizenship. So we need Brea. Something, are you looking at it?
Yeah. So that being said, of course, why not? I'm learning the language and I'm doing. You see, the way people see Russia from outside, to be frank, if you are here, you realize that okay, it's a whole different thing altogether. And as we are discussing how each country is trying to solve its own problem. Sometimes you are here, you are not a Russian, but you feel proud to just be here because aside all these sanctions and all these things going on, you realize that these people they have a well-structured economy, even though now things are not really good or things are not really looking nice from outside. See, to give an example, McDonald's and all these people decided to leave. Fine. Then the government decided that, okay, we are putting out a large amount of money for soft loans. If you want to come and start the food retailing business, if you want to come and start a fast food business, come and take the money. They are leaving. We will make
not
the
to
money.
Not to cut it short. I think that's what China actually wants to do. China has projected, there's a projection that in the next 5 years, China wants to take over the world with their businesses and other apps, cars, technology and all that. So I mean, I think it's also a good shot for Russia that company.
So it's like those outside are thinking that, oh, Charlie, we are saying everything is destroyed. But see, these people they have a plan. I don't think they just woke up to do this without thinking about it. You understand? They've had sanctions in 2014. In 2014, they introduced this MIR card. Like I said, they had been testing this MIR card from for a long time, from 2014. I'm getting news today that Apple Pay is now about to add support for MIR card on Apple Pay. Yeah. So what does it mean? It means if it works and it's working fine, I mean, they don't care about Visa and MasterCard. The MIR card is also working.
Yeah.
They've been testing their own form of SWIFT, and China has Union Pay and then CIPS. These people are testing their SWIFT from 2014. If it should work and everything, people add on to themselves. What's the implication? It means they're going to be self-reliant. They don't care what you say outside. Now, all these things, if you are in here and you just see like, wow, the whole world is against them, but they are really doing their own thing. And that again, they also added that if you are in the IT space, for example, they want to vamp up their IT. You already know how people regard Russians as hackers and IT and whatever. They are also saying now that the companies and people should speed up the process of giving citizenship to those who want to come and work in the IT industry. You understand? What's the implication? It means, I don't know whether you can hear me. Yeah, it means it means there is a plan. It's like what I'm trying to say. There's a plan, and so if you are outside, you don't hear of these things and you don't see them as it were. But truly in here, I mean, these people are not just sitting down. This is not the first time they've had sanctions. They've had it for a long time. That's the same thing with China. US has given a lot of sanctions to China, and now I can say they are really dependent on themselves. They don't care about you. If you want to download WeChat, if you don't have someone from mainland China verifying you, they don't care. Just sit outside. So at the end, it will get to a time, if this is to continue, it will get to a time, look at the population of China, look at the population of Russia, you get to a time, these people will be communicating and be doing businesses among themselves. the dollar is not going to be as effective as we think it is. Like, I'm just saying, you realize that it will have an impact, but now it's all about the morph. It's all about BBC is saying this and they're saying that. Like, to be frank, people are really planning, and that is what, anytime I think about it, I just feel that Ghana, they forget about it. You understand? They didn't just start this now. President here came into power from like 2000. He was a spy before. You don't think he's dumb? You understand? He's very smart, and people they just think, hey, he's a bully. He's killing people. See, before you are made a spy, you are very smart and you have high intelligence. So these people, they also think. They also have economists and all these things. That's that they also, in one way or the other, like you said, they are blocking Facebook and all these things. They're also trying to contain their information. They don't want, in China, WhatsApp is not even just out there like that.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? I don't think China and Russia and all these people that are against the West and then the US, they are bad and they just decide to be like against them. There is a reason, and the reason is not always talked about. You understand? I always tell people that the news and the information that we get in Ghana, unfortunately, we are being fed. That's why they can come and tell us that, hey, accept gay and lesbianism, otherwise we won't help you. Like, you can't tell this to anyone who is self-sufficient. So I think for Ghana, we really need to, as a country, we need to have, I don't think we even have a blueprint for the country where we know this is where we are going in terms of technology, in terms of A, B, or C. So there's a whole lot going on here. Sometimes I just come and read the news and then I'm like, hey, these people are really planning. I just go back and then see like nothing is happening. So yeah, if I get a chance to have duals, I'll get it, because it will get to a time, probably knowing the language would even be a big thing for you. Most people would want to associate themselves with you because you can read the language. If I put Russian text in front of you and you can read, it will be more like a superpower. I don't know how it feels, but I'm just trying to take advantage of every opportunity. At the same time, if, like I said, it's not like I'm a strict believer in something like Russia or something like that. But if it happens that, hey, everybody go to your country, well, why not? But while I'm here, I'm learning the language. I'm trying to make sure I get my red diploma. I can get a citizenship and all that. I can travel in and out of Russia anytime I want. I mean, it doesn't stop me from getting another citizenship from any other country. If you feel like that's the whole thing, I don't care. It's a matter of you making yourself valuable. And that's what Russia is trying to do, because they are making sure that, see, if you, on Sunday, I got an email from the countries, I don't know what they call it, but they sent me an email that, hey, we have realized that Instagram, the parent company of Instagram, is being racist to Russians, and they are allowing racist comments and other things to Russians. So in order to protect the mental health of our people, we are blocking Instagram. This is the message they sent out. So to them, it's like, hey, if our people go on Instagram, people are hating them. You understand? So then let's prevent our people from seeing this mental stress and all these things. So they blocked it. I mean, as I sit here, I use Instagram and all that. I don't know how they blocked it, but yeah, they restricted it to a certain extent. And even the way they sent the email to me, I was even surprised, like, wow, this is like, they are telling you everything. They're not like, one day you wake up and the thing is not working. No, you understand? So that's what I have to say.
Yeah, that's so spot on. I mean, the Instagram story, I read it this afternoon. I was so like, wow. But I didn't know that was the explanation behind it. You know, the media didn't project that one. That's, I mean, they're allowing racist comments to Russians. They didn't add that one. They just
they are not putting out that, because of course Facebook brought something that if you post an article, if you post a news, they will verify that information is true. But for this particular situation, they are not verifying about Russia. They are just allowing it. So Instagram thinks Facebook is not being fair. And this is, I mean, if it doesn't matter if you are in America or whatever, this is not a good thing. You understand? So they are just deciding that, hey, we don't. And see, to add to the point, they suggested that because we are moving, we want you to not be on Instagram. We have our own platform, VK and OK. And to be frank, if I have used Facebook for a very long time. Their platform here is more equipped and more powerful than Facebook, as we know. But like I said, unfortunately, they just made it for themselves here. Most of it is in Russian. You can just translate. It has music, it has series, it has movies, it has payment, it has. I mean, just think of it. You just go there and you have everything that you are looking for. So they plan. I think they are also brave because they think they have what you also have. You understand?
Okay, so there are some comments in the section. Alfred says, Iras, he said what happened. Iras, if you can come out, Iras, what do you mean by what happened? Maybe there was a comment that you need explanation so that we go over it. Mr. Iras, if you can hear us. Okay, whilst Iras is gathering his thoughts, Alfred said, true, Putin mentioned they were ready. The man is, I mean, this man has been president for the past 22 years. You think he has not thought about it over and over again? He knows what he's up for. Opinions are the oligarchs recovering from the sanctions? No, right now they are suffering in other people's countries. But I'm sure when they go to Russia, they'll be cool. Because right now, more of the oligarchs all over the world are being sanctioned like hard. They are freezing all their assets. Everything they own in another man's land is being frozen. Basically, it's being frozen. I mean, these are billionaires. Yes, they wouldn't feel it, but it will affect them one way or the other. Example is Abramovich. I mean, this guy has done a lot for the England nation. I mean, he has paid his taxes, he has done all that, but he's feeling it. I mean, he's feeling it to the extent that when the English people wanted to even put a ban on the football team itself, I mean, it doesn't make sense. No ticket sales, no jersey sales, no fans in their stadium. I mean, that is crazy. Like, that is crazy. For him to come out to say that the profits will be used as proceeds for the Ukrainians to, sort out their things, and he'll be a mediator between Ukraine and Russia, but they are still putting sanctions on them. There are other people who are even richer than Abramovich. I forgot it. I think one is also called Vladimir something. I think he's in Norway or something. Norway self-grad and puts sanction on them. So that one, yeah, they are filthy rich, but they'll feel it. They'll feel it one way or the other. Iras, please, can you hear us? I want to know what you meant so that, I mean, we continue from there. Okay, Alfred, please. Over to you.
What?
Before Alfred continues, I just put what Sampeni said on the page. I mean, I just opened my WeChat to see if I can still access it, and the updates came. But I need verification from China. Hey, Charlie, mad. Alfred, please continue.
Yeah, but back to what I was saying. I mean, I'm here asking myself, do we also need sanctions to start thinking?
I swear, like for real, bro. For real.
If sanctions and harsh measures are making the
Russia
fights we see, Russia have been always thinking. They have always been thinking. But I mean, I'm asking Ghanaians. I mean, do we need some sanctions to think? Because I mean, maybe Suffolk and Tanker and all those people, we can get better use of them when there are sanctions and all that. But that's on the lighter note. But this thing is very serious. I'm just imagining if Ghana is going to go through this, can we survive a year? But the sad thing is we have when it comes to personnel, and we boast that Ghana, we have the people, and then people are smart, and Africans are that, and Africans are that. But what is happening? Like, can we do it? Can we stay like a year without any foreign aid or anything? Like, this is something that is going through my head right now, and I mean, it is sad. If you have some leaders or politicians on our midst, I mean, you people should start doing something. Maybe we should find some war and then let's get some sanctions or something. I mean, if it's an option, I don't know.
Charlie, pay you over to you. That's amazing. That's a good school of thought over there. I think we need sanctions, to be honest. Like, before Penny comes, sorry.
The only thing we need that, and we need someone with let's say a young mind, or a person who is much younger, who can understand and relate to the younger generation, to be able to take charge of the country. Not these old people who have their own thinking and don't want to leave the public. Look at the public sector. Most of them are going to their 60s, 70s, and they still want to hold on to their position. We have young graduates who are ready to take up the mantle and come in with their new ideas, which are even much better and even efficient. but we still don't see the essence. Like they see us as if a 70-year-old will see a 40-year-old as a young person. We see him as a small boy. So you say that. So all those ideas they're being hammered on, or they are being pressed on, like the chance. If they are training the youth very well to take up the mantle, you will see how far this country will go. We are our own enemy. It's just a problem of letting go. They don't want to let go. They want
That's
power.
true. I mean, that's spot on. That's spot on. That's spot on. I mean, our people in positions are too old. They still have the archaic way of thinking. The more reason why I would like my firm. My firm, young people. I mean, young minds, very innovative people, creative people. I mean, you can find a young manager at the age of 31. You know, like he thinks like you. He works, dresses. I mean, understand where you're coming from, and they are very, very innovative. Okay, yeah, James, it's good to hear your voice. James, tell us something before you talk. Don't forget what you're about to say. But before you talk, how is life in where you are right now in the States? Is the fuel prices also hitting your pocket?
Well, it's good you mentioned that first, the fuel prices. But okay, as you said, let me hit on what I just want to rebut a bit of what
James, I think we are losing
Bandy
you.
said,
Hey,
just
are
so
you
I don't
not in
forget
are
it.
you not in your 5G?
Let me.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, this is good. I thought you were in a 5G position. Nah, until can you there, boss? If I take time. Please, can hear you. Please go ahead. I'm American, no. American even now. I am American as him. James, please, if you can hear us, or better still connect to a 5G network and come back. James is hilarious, so 2 weeks no. Hey, I'm out for. Mami, over to you, please. As James is gathering his thoughts. And getting a good wife.
Hi, good evening,
Yeah.
everybody.
Good evening. Good evening.
I missed some parts of the conversation because I had to go off at some
Go for
point. But
Meko and come back. Yeah.
I just wanted to also say something about what Penny said, right? About we needing young minds and da 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 da, da all of that. I also believe that Ghanaians, like one thing I always think about is the fact that um I said it last week, the fact that our leaders bully us because we have made them believe that um there's nothing we can do about them, right? And in as much as people think um the whole thing is me, I would go back to the fact that sometimes I think sometimes it get political, right? And then I am of the view that
Hello.
one of the problems we also have with the leadership is the fact that we
Oh,
have the two those two political parties there. So they are, can I go on or I should?
Oh, please go on.
Okay.
Yes.
We have political parties up there and then they are playing with the minds of Ghanaians, sorry. So what I would add to what Penny said was that now if you're saying we need young minds, right? I say that we need to also get rid of those two, which is like also believe that it's almost impossible, because if we are saying we need young minds, right, and we still keep those two dominant parties up there, what's going to happen is that the young minds in quote, that are going to come after these old people if they are gone, are being trained by the old people because they are all in the same like parties with them. So let's say for instance, whoever goes, the young person that is going to come, let's say NPP, right? And the old men in NPP go, and then maybe they come into power. The people that are going to come and succeed those people are going to be people who were trained by the old men. I don't know if I'm making sense, but that's what I think. So I feel like in as much as we have young minds and everything, we should pray for the fact that we get, yes, we have the brains, we have people who have great ideas that would help the country, but also they have to be people who have those great ideas and one because really our leaders and also Nyamia, you do the things that I believe you do the things that they are doing, so it's not just about having people who are intelligent, who've got great ideas and all of that, but then we need people who have all of that and then also fear God and then also are willing to do the right things, which are not just for their pockets or for their selfless selves, but also to think about the country. Because if it's about great minds, then really everyone, like we have like majority of us who are ready to go, but then we should pray that we get people who are going to do what is right, and then not just doing what is right for doing its sake, but doing it because they are thinking about the people and also the fact that they are good people at heart, and then there are people who fear God. So that's what I wanted to add to it. Thank you very much.
All right, that's spot on. That's spot on. I think some people just joined. So those who just joined, please here, welcome. We have like basically 15 minutes more to go. We are discussing, and we are continuing our discussion actually. Last week we were discussing how Ghana's certificate independence has brought us so far as young adults. I mean, the freedom and justice, the Ghana you are free forever, those words from Kwame Nkrumah, has it really profited us? But then today we're just using the premise of how the Russian-Ukraine war has affected the global market and our local market as well, and what we think we can do better and how to go about things. Yeah, so those who just joined, that's what we have been discussing so far. Okay, so Alfredo Kufu. Yeah, over to you.
Yeah. All right. I mean, today I'm talking plenty, but I mean, it's interesting.
Oh, please feel free. I mean, economists are on the line who don't want to talk. So.
Yeah. So I mean, I want to touch on a few things. I mean, what Penny said, and then what Mamia said. Let me begin with Mamia. I mean, what she said is very true. We have a system here in Ghana, Africa. I don't know, maybe the world that they refer to as godfatherism. I mean, where politicians want to train young people to take over from them, or like young people want to, if you want to be in the corridors of power, you have to serve under some godfathers and all that to be able to get the recognition and all that to get enter into the politics and get some positions. And so these people actually feed them right from. Let's look at our SRCs. Let's look at our NUCs and then our USAG elections. Let's look at how these people are spending and squandering students' money and all that. So if you look at that, then you tell me the youth are supposed to take power. Sometimes I get scared because these people are the ones who are interested in politics and they started from the SRCs. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Pa Tuaro.
So let's look at these SRC presidents and what they are doing. Let's look at the NUCS executives and what they are doing. And these people are the people who are interested in the national politics, and they can't even handle students' affairs, and they are spending money. Are we sure we can give power to them? Can we do that? And this godfatherism thing is something that it is there. If you are a little bit closer to the politicians, you would notice that everybody has a godson or something, and then they are training them, and godfather and everywhere. So these people will feed them, and they see what they are doing. They go everywhere with them, and so it will be very difficult. This brings me back to the issue I actually have, and I think the Church of Pentecost political chamber is something that is a good thing. But I mean, we would have to find a way to redefine it in a certain way, because now they want to train people to be good Christian in politics, but they'll go back into this MPP, NDC to do their thing. And then these people have built a system around them, and they're operating in that way. And so if they go back, they can't do anything than to serve the godfathers, and the godfathers will retrain them So I mean, we need a different approach to get this thing right. Because no matter what you do, if we leave the older people leave it for the younger people, they are the people they will go to for advice, and these people will corrupt them again. So what do we do? That's the question I ask myself every day. Thank you.
Wow. Spot on. Gerald Okine, over to you, please. Godfatherism. I've learned something new today. Gerald, please, if you can hear us, welcome to the Ssag Show. We've missed you. This is season 2, actually, episode 5 or so, or 4. I'm really confused. Yeah, Gerald, please, if you can hear us, your take. We have like 10 minutes more. It's getting heated.
Hello, Ben.
Yeah, Gerald, we can hear you, please.
Great. So, I was listening to the conversation, and I've always been of the view that there need to be a dynamic system change. If you watch recently, there has been a renewal of mind where we are now saying that women have to be empowered. I think there should be that same renewal of mind where we also have to say that the youth need to be empowered. So Obama, when he was elected to be a senator, it was these old grandfathers who held his hands and showed him the way. So this godfather mannerism is still going to be with us, but those who are going to lead us should have that bravery to give power to the youth. And if we, the youth, do not stand, do not make ourselves available, just like in the corporate world, to let them know that we are ready to lead, then definitely we'll still have these old men leading us. I am of the view, when Semi Jemfi for the NDC stood up to contest the communication director, you could hear all the communication that went wrong. He's such a young boy, what does he know? Even Okujeto Blakwa, when he was elected, they were young, they embezzled government money here and there, but they've set the standard, although not the standard that we need, but they've shown that yes, when given the nod, the young guys can do better. So I think the church as well should encourage its people not to shy away from politics, but to embrace politics and guide them in how they should go about it. The church is part of the society in making government decisions. If we plant people, just like it's a strategy, just like the way we play chess, we need to start putting pawns. I'm not saying people will control them, but people who have our mindset, the decision making that we have, and place them in these sensitive positions and train them to take up the position. That's the only way we can trickle down that kind of change that we want. If not, we'll still grow 70 years and we'll still be ready to hold on to power. Mugabe was how many years? He was still trying to hold on to power. So I believe there should be a systemic, a dynamic change within our thinking, and the church also should lead this kind of argument. And sometimes when church is given positions, they should rather look for the young ones and say, "Oh, I think I'm too old. I'll not have this." Like the council of elders. And you see, some people are about 80 years, 70 years. They don't have the time, the luxury. They are not fit. I'm not saying they are not fit in terms of physically, their mind, their brains are there, but they should involve the young ones in this council of state so that they help them in the decision making. I rest my case.
Gerald, I think we are losing you. Gerald, we didn't get your last sentence.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I was
The
saying
last
that.
sentence, please.
Yeah, my last sentence, that I believe that the how do you call it? The church and those who are the godfathers should now take it upon themselves to train the youth to take up positions. Look, you are very powerful if you have about 5 people who are young guys in government sensitive position, and you can just make a call, Charlie, do this, do that, do this. I'm not saying manipulate them wrongly, but manipulate the church way. Ghana will be a place. And we saw that with the case of Obama. I rest my case.
Great, that's spot on. I think, thank you, Gerald. Okay, James Obin is back. James, you speak, and Mami, I'll have the final word, and then we close.
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry about
You're now in 5G position. Okay, please continue.
Sorry about earlier. I was driving. Okay. So as I was saying, in okay, let me answer your question first. You were saying how is it in the US? It's good. It's good here. I think the fuel prices are increasing, yes, but it's not necessarily affecting the people. In what sense? Employment is also like as in on the verge like of subsiding like right now because there are so many places that need employers, like so many places, and places are shops are closing down because they don't have staff, and so people are leaving their jobs for better places to be, for better pay and all that. So with the fuel necessarily, it's not so hard on us. I mean, the way it is in Ghana, it has increased to about $4. Yeah, 4.3 a gallon. Yeah, which is still way better than Ghana, but it's still a bit, yeah. And yeah, so in general, that's it for the situation here. I don't know what they are doing about the employment issue though, but it's still like on the rise because a lot of places are closing down due to lack of staff. Which I'm sure if this was a situation in Ghana, we wouldn't be where we are at right now. Yeah. And I wanted to talk about what Pani said about the youth taking up positions instead of our old people still staying in rain. That is a perfect idea, but also the youth going into those positions, they have to be poised for whatever they're going to be doing. It seems the corruption is just transcending down to the latest generation also. Even in our normal school politics and all that, our normal universities, colleges and all that, there's still the corruption is still on the rise. It's not changing. It's not getting better. So what is the youth also doing to stop those who, if they were given the opportunity to be in power, to stop them from, taking that negative side from our like old people who are already there and doing things differently? The dynamism and everything in terms of strength, in terms of intelligence and all that is going to be there. But the negative side of corruption too, of not doing what has to be done at certain points in time. What are we going to do about that? Because if they go there and they also, they may do things differently, they may bring super innovative ideas on board, but if they're also being corrupt, if they're also doing certain negative things, it can't get perfect, but it has to get better. It can't stay the same way. Those negative sides can't stay the same way as our old people, as we term it, are still doing in their positions. I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense here, but this is my take on the youth moving onto those positions also. If there's a way to curb that situation of corruption, that combining that with the innovative and better strengths and ideas for our youths to be in positions would go a long way and would not get them there and still drag us back. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you too. That's spot on. I see Len 7 on the call. I'm supposing that should be Ebenezer Akins. Akins, if it's you, please, you can say something little in addition to what James just said, and then Mami, I will just close us. So maybe I should wait. Okay, Penny said, because if the leaders are not being held accountable for their actions, it will look as if it's normal, which is why the system needs to work. I did really can say Len 7. Ebenezer Akins, is that you, please?
Yes, sir.
Great, my brother.
I didn't beg.
You go there 5 years. You say if you not get assent, James go there 2 weeks. He get assents. Please.
But Bembo, Akins and I are different people. What are you saying?
Oh, it's not me. It's not me that I'm saying. No, it's not me
Oh,
that
you
I'm
said,
saying. Somebody said it in the chat. Go and look at it.
please, you're supposed to let me be. Please, can I be? Thank you.
Penny said you've gone there for 2 weeks. You have accents.
I don't have. I've not been here for 2 weeks. Please,
But
I've not
Penny
been.
Akins has been there for 5 years. He doesn't have an accent. So Akins, please top up and let's go.
I mean, frankly,
Hey,
I
but
just joined. I just joined. I don't really. I kind of like had a couple of conversations you guys were having, but I don't really know what you guys are talking about. So, I mean, there's no input. Um, so I don't know unless you brief me and then I can,
sure, we'll brief you next week. Today, our time is up and we are closing.
Yeah, that's
So,
fine.
yeah, that's fine.
Bambo,
Thanks for joining.
please, did you say Akins doesn't have an accent?
Oh, it was Penny who was saying. It was Penny, please, not me. Hey, I
Okay.
beg you.
Okay.
Me, I say Akins boy. Me, I
beg.
say become. So that means he vexed me that.
James,
Mommy,
yeah,
I
you
can
need
last
to.
first. And there we go.
Okay, so what I'll say is that
Hey, Mommy, I your accent come.
oh my god, my drink has poured.
Yeah, crash it.
Please continue.
Okay, so what I'll say is that what I would say is that we still believe that I'm part of the people who believe so much that the old people have to go. And I've said it on this show before, the old people have to go. But also we have to make sure that and pray that the young people that are coming are people who are coming with the fear of God. Because from what we all are seeing, majority of our leaders are Christians. And if we are saying that we have to you kind of saying we have to take over, it's not just about having the title of being a Christian and then going there and then, because really they are all Christians, but then I will still stress on it. We need people who fear God, people who will come and not just come and make decisions and set certain laws and rules because they want to benefit from it, but people who are doing it and thinking about the fact that, okay, this is what the word of God tells me to do things. This is how I am doing this to please God, not to please myself or the people around me or the Godfathers. This Godfathers thing, yeah, is going to be on, but then I don't know who said it, but then we need people who will be able to stand their grounds and then stand against these people. That fine, yeah, you go for advice, yeah, everyone can give advice, but whether you will whatever you do with the advice depends on you. So we need people who fear God. And I will always say we still have hope in Ghana that they be a baby, but then we need the right people, and then we need the help of God, because baby thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. Our time is up, and I'll quickly read some of the comments in the chat session. Then we close. So, opinion is like Alfred. You see that since they are not held accountable by the people, they think they can get away with it. David Anand said that our structures need to be revamped and strengthened. And then the 7 said, "Gotta jump out." Please, I'm quoting the 7. So if you hear any accent, it's not me. It's the 7. Okay, he said. Gotta jump out. It's been great listening to y'all. Yeah, that's the 7. Akins for you. Okay, guys. God richly bless you all for coming. I mean, it's been amazing. I am on brand team so that we can have a good conversation. Today we waited for like 15 minutes. And then we started. So please, let's come in next week. God richly bless you all for coming. The Ssag show. The Ssag show happens every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Just mark it in your calendars, set your alarms so that when it's time, you just join. You don't have to come and beg you every day. You don't have to come and beg you every day. They send the link every day, put the group inside. What again you put the want? Okay, guys. We have our rehearsals, online rehearsals this Friday. Make sure you you come, please come, including those who are in US and Russia. You can join virtually, we know more. Please come. Yeah. And then from there, please, we have our photo shoots coming on. Please, if you've not made your contribution yet, kindly DM Hilda 20 CDs and above. The shirt is more than 20 CDs. So I mean, we just need support from you guys. Just help us do that. Any other announcements? Penny, Hilda, Betty. Would that be all?